there's been a large influx of different talent that has came, gone throughout the Rolodex of individuals that you've worked alongside with, right? Now, I've heard a lot, I've seen a lot, not to just talk about the culture vulture and just hammer home on that. I just want you to, because I heard this, Adam22 is a racist. You all know I love going to live events, whether it's a football game or a concert. Nothing beats a live experience. That's why I'm all about Gametime. The Gametime Picks feature shows you only the best deals, so you can easily find and snag the top offers without wasting time looking through countless aisles. I was just on the app looking for tickets for the next Auburn-Georgia game. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code FUNKY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code FUNKY for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Are you?
No, not at all. I've never really heard anybody put forth a good argument for that one, to be honest with you. It's like,
but you've heard it.
A little bit, but not really from anybody I respect. Not from anybody who I felt like put like real effort into making the claim.
Yeah.
You know? The worst things that I think people have been able to point is me having, different political type characters on the podcast over the years, being willing to have conversations with people who are, past or present racists, I guess. But I don't know. I've never really related to that at all. Honestly, I grew up in an environment where when I first got exposed to racist jokes through Howard Stern, shout out Howard Stern, one of my biggest influences early on.
Bro, you are the modern day Howard Stern.
Thank you, I appreciate that. We all are in many ways.
I forgot to add that in the intro, but it's like, bro, and as I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, this is the modern day Howard Stern.
Right.
Like, Howard Stern did it over the radio airways, so he painted a picture in your mind as like, oh yeah, you got a nice rack right there, okay.
Right, but Howard Stern switched it up at some point.
Yeah.
I'm never switching it up. We're gonna stay raunchy forever. Yeah, I gotta be that. The streets need that.
Keep it funky.
But my thing is, Howard Stern, like listening to that as a 12-year-old, I'm hearing him make all kinds of jokes, racial. He's making a lot of jokes about his own Judaism, his own identity. And I brought that to my parents, started cracking jokes like that around my parents. And oh man, we had the sit down to end all sit downs about how it's not okay to make racist jokes or how it's not okay to look down upon anybody because of their identity. People always think because I'm from New Hampshire that I might've grown up with conservative parents when I actually grew up with the most liberal parents who were teaching me all about different cultures. And my parents had gay friends when I was a kid in the 80s and shit. And I don't know. It's like I surround myself with a lot of great black minds whenever possible. My publicist, Laura. I got my guy, Remo, right here, is one of the best people I hired in recent years. Even the on-camera talent, people like Brick Baby, who, if anything, that's a big part of what I want to do with No Jumper is to just elevate incredible black voices in the culture.
But I think that's it though. Like Remo.
Right.
Right? No disrespect to him. I respect him as a man. And he's standing right here. You said hired him. So in retrospect, you are superior in some regard. Do you have black friends that aren't on your payroll?
Oh, of course. I mean, I feel like such a huge
that
percentage.
You have discussions with and just say like, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
This is why we feel the way we feel about certain topics and discussions. And I fuck with you, Adam. Like, I ain't one of these dudes that's not to say he can't be that he can't do that. I'm just saying when people make these claims, it's coming from a source where it's like, bro, they see that a lot of people that are around you are on payroll. You see what I'm saying? Rather than people that are like, have this organic desire for you to win and looking out for your best interests.
And honestly, though, that's something I kind of battle with is that I have so many incredible people on the podcast and I feel like I develop friendships with a huge percentage of them. But then because of the fucking constant churn of guests, it sometimes feels like I don't necessarily have the time or just the brain power to maintain relationships with them as much as I would like to. But for sure, it's like a big part of the people I hire, I feel like, is just that they need to be able to question me. They need to be able to tell me what's going on and not just let me feel like I know everything, you know? So it's like, if anything, I've had conversations with people who work for me where I tell them like, hey, you need to be able to like tell me what's popping. Like you need to be able to tell me when I'm wrong about something.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll show up in the morning with a list of questions in my head of just shit that I've been watching online. And it's like, hey, tell me what's really going on with this. Cause I just watched some YouTube documentaries about this shit and I just wanna know what the word on the street is. And a lot of times when I hit somebody like Remo or Brick Baby with that, they tell me what's really going on a level that I just wouldn't have been able to piece together through just watching shit on YouTube. So, you know, I'm looking to be challenged. Like I don't wanna be in relationships or have friends with people who aren't willing to like challenge me or give me
Hold you accountable.
more shit to think about, yeah.
For sure. But I'm curious to know, growing up in New Hampshire, right? What was your first interaction, a normal interaction with a black person? Like on a consistent basis. Did you go to school with black people?
Yeah, but it was like a relatively small percentage. I feel like my schools growing up might have been like 10% black or some shit.
Yeah.
So it was like, I always would have friendships with the black kids I went to school with because typically they were the ones who seemed like they knew what was going on with rap, and I was always so thirsty for friends to talk about rap with.
Yeah.
Like I remember in high school that there was a table full of black kids and I would just kind of go sit with them and just be like, yo, so y'all fuck with Big L? Literally. Yeah. And there's like actually people from my high school who could tell you that story about me just like kind of showing up and just being like, hey, what's going on? And they would laugh at me and like really clown me for being like a over the top hip hop head. But at the same time, like I felt like they fucked with me. And honestly, like though New Hampshire is just like such a small percentage of black people. But by the time I moved to New York was when I really started to feel like I kind of understood a little bit more, because like riding BMX out in the streets in Brooklyn and Queens every day for all those years, like I just started to really kind of understand this world that I was trying to
how
decode.
How old were you when you went to?
I moved there when I was in, I think I was 21.
Can you do something for a man?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. But that's kind of similar to my transition to white people, right? I always tell this story in regards to my interactions with Caucasians were either a person of superior, law enforcement, a teacher, didn't really have any everything for the first 17, 18 years of my life was black. I'm talking about like Wakanda. Like, that's it. I went to college to the University of Florida, and that was my first interaction with a normalcy interaction with Caucasians. And I didn't know how to it was like, whoa, like what's happening? And it was one thing, cause like the coaches, like they would talk to you a certain type of way, and you use the word or a way of expression is like speaking their language. And I had a hard time adjusting to, I'm like, bro, who the fuck you talking to like this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that was what I had. It was not getting used to. It's just I did not know how to interpret that type of talk.
Right.
It wasn't, looking back at it, it wasn't that it was inappropriate or anything. It was just like I wasn't used to the dialogue between a black man and a white man until I was damn near an adult. You see what I'm saying? And when we have racial discussions, when we have cringing discussions about culture, about race, I think that the biggest thing as a grown man, as an adult, that I can give any Caucasian person is we're not looking for you to say, okay, I agree with that. We just want empathy. We want you to just look at it through our lens, where there was a time when police brutality was at its height. And I think the NFL did they worked towards informing people to merge the relationship between police and pedestrians, right? And they will use influencers, football players, entertainers to kind of bridge that gap together. And we had opportunities to speak hand to hand with, you know what I'm saying, the law enforcement. And one of the main things is like having children, having a real discussion with our children of how to act when you get pulled over. And when you have these conversations with other races, other ethnicity groups, it's a little alarming. Like, wait, what? Y'all do that over the dinner table? It's like, yeah, motherfucker, you got to. Shit, I want to see my son at night. I want to see my daughter at night. I want them to understand, like, yo, bro, you got dreads, son. Even though I look at that as a beauty, I look at that as strength. Some people look at that as like cringing or like harmful. They look like a person with dreads is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for something that I'm telling you this and you're saying like, oh, damn, bro, I get it. I understand. It's like, no, bro, it's not always the same though. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you can kind of put yourself in my shoes, and when you go out here and you say like, yo, bro, I'm Adam22. Sometimes I be feeling like, yo, I walk outside this realm of who Cam Newton is and I'm still a nigga. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those situations that these conversations can't happen enough. But that's why it's very important to have these conversations about race, about anything with different perspectives, different views, different vantage points, because that's the only way that the culture is going to get pushed forward. You see what I'm saying? So all in all, bro, it's like some of my most intriguing experiences, some of my mentors, some of my people who I've idolized from afar have been teammates that were white. You know what I'm saying? I've always been on record to saying this person came into my life at a time that I was so vulnerable. A white man by the name of Tim Jackson. I met him at Auburn. And I seen every single day he was just dressed to the nines. And growing up in the South, like he would wear a suit and then he would wear boots. And I would always kick shit. I'm like, man, why the fuck you wearing? I won't curse that. And I had like, he was like, why you wearing these damn boots? And then he would always hear me say, bruh, hey, what's up, bruh? Then he started saying it too. He's like, come on, bruh. You know I'm swaggy, bruh. And you know, like I was teaching him lingo, but little did he know he was teaching me how to be professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I would be so intrigued to ask questions like, yo, like, at this point, as my life is changing, I knew I was going to the league. I would ask him real questions like, what should I do with my money? You know what I'm saying? And he told me this thing one time, and I was in my feelings about something. This was right before, I believe it was the Georgia game. And a lot of people didn't have my ear where I was like really listening to him. Tim had my ear. And he gained my trust by just showing up constantly, being a vessel of like, okay, this is how you live. This is how you take care of yourself. Like, do you need anything? I'm not your yes man, but I'm here to kind of nurture and protect you while you're away from home. And he was like, bro, I know you and your feelings. I don't really know what it is, but you have to understand, I'm trying to put you in the position where you'll never have to work a job a day of your life again. You have to look the part. You have to act the part. And that's not selling yourself. That's just about being professional. I never had a person tell me that.
Wow.
And this is from a Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, damn, bro, like that's some real ass shit. And those type of interactions, so to the person who's like, yo, I don't have no white friends, it's like, no, I can't say that. Because I do. I have some people who really have put me on game in ways that other people who I grew up with, I don't think they could have, you know what I'm saying? And I just respect him so much for nurturing me through that vulnerable time of my life because I was growing so fast. It was like I was having growing pains of stardom. It was like I went from a nobody to somebody all in the span of 2 months.
Right.
And he was there the whole way. He was like, yo, bro, like, he saw, I sat down with him and my first contract came through him, right? Where it was like, not came through him, it was like to see it, I was literally intrigued to say, like, what does all this mean? Like, blah, 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 blah. I didn't end up signing a contract. I got way more money. But he was some of the things that he was just redlining, saying like, yo, you got to be prepared to like, what does perpetuity mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, what does these things mean right here? And he was just so patient with me. And that's what I needed. So.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's an amazing thing to be able to make mistakes in your life and learn from it, but it's even better for you to be able to learn those mistakes without having to make them, through having people in your life that are intelligent enough to put you on game before you actually have to suffer a devastating financial loss. Or like, you think about all the rappers who signed fucked up contracts.
For sure.
Who just needed somebody in their life who had a little bit more insight that would have been able to, spare them from a situation that lost them millions of dollars.
Right, for sure.